People often look to the sky for answers. But in the early morning hours of July 10th, 2025, the Florida sky posed a question that stunned the nation. Was this a sign from the heavens? As dawn was still fading, residents across northeast Florida, from Jacksonville to St. Augustine, witnessed a strange and mesmerizing phenomenon: vertical pillars of light, glowing in gold and purple, rising from the horizon as if the sky were splitting open to reveal another dimension. No one could look away. The beams of light were not just dazzling, they seemed to be alive, breathing, speaking beyond reason. While weather stations were quick to attribute the sighting to sun pillars, a rare optical phenomenon caused by the reflection of sunlight on ice crystals, locals were not buying the cold explanation. Videos went viral, accompanied by dozens of testimonies. "I saw it. It has a soul. It has a purpose." One marine biologist said, "It doesn't look like a light. It looks like a message from heaven." The event, which lasted more than 6 minutes, several times longer than a typical natural phenomenon, left a mysterious and shocking legacy. For many, it was not just a weather anomaly, but a first warning, a letter of light written in the sky, setting off a series of prophetic signs across America. If you believe that these things are not random, if you feel that something is changing in this world, then don't be silent. Please like, share, and comment your feelings below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to follow the series of strange signs that are unfolding with us. Because who knows, the next sign may appear right in the sky where you live. People think the sea is always the place where fires are extinguished. But that afternoon, it was the sea that became the place where they broke out. Just hours after the strange light pillar phenomenon in the Florida sky, an equally terrifying sight unfolded on the coast of Miami: fire burning on the water. No one could believe their eyes. Under the orange-red sunset, orange flames rose from the salt water, burning brightly without fuel, without wind, and refusing to be extinguished. There was no ship explosion, no oil slick, no sign of an industrial or military accident. The flames danced on the waves, scorching the surface of the ocean for nearly 20 minutes, then disappeared as if they had never existed. A crowd gathered on the shore, first out of curiosity, then in terror. Screams rang out. An elderly man, dressed in a retired firefighter's uniform, stood still and then shouted, "I've seen oil fires, electric fires, but this is the sea crying out fire." The words added to the tension, as if the heavens and the earth were speaking. On social media, a series of videos of the scene were posted, accompanied by passages from the Bible, especially Revelation 16, where the sea turns to blood, where death and judgment are spread over the water. For many, this was no longer a strange phenomenon, but an omen, a warning, a reversal, where water is no longer a symbol of life, but a warning from the eternal. At 2:27 that afternoon, in the heat of what had been a normal day, the ground in Ocala, a place with no history of significant seismic activity, was suddenly shaken by a 4.1 magnitude earthquake. No one was prepared. In an instant, more than 600,000 homes lost power. Traffic lights flickered before going dark. Emergency services were swamped with calls. Emergency alerts were activated, echoing across the land from Jacksonville to Tampa Bay. But what was more breathtaking was not the shaking, but the change in the sky. The once clear blue sky suddenly turned an uncanny reddish gray, not from wildfire smoke, not from Saharan dust, and not even registered by weather radar. It came as a supernatural curtain, covering the air with a melancholy silence. In the midst of that strange red fog, a sobbing woman in Miami reported seeing an angel standing in the smoke, his wings spread. A pastor in Tampa said he heard a trumpet call in the spirit, loud and urgent, like a wake-up call. No one could explain it, but everyone sensed it. This was not the weather. This was a warning, powerful and impossible to ignore. It wasn't until July 10th, 2025, that things began. For those who were paying close attention, Florida had long been a beacon of strange signals, links that seemed to be connecting in a slowly unfolding chain of prophecy. In 2022, a tropical storm swept across the Atlantic, causing weather satellites to capture a strange image. The storm's path curved into the shape of a trumpet, a familiar symbol from the Book of Revelation. The image quickly spread across Christian forums and was interpreted as the first warning of the trumpets signaling judgment. In 2024, another atmospheric phenomenon caused a stir. The sky above the Everglades suddenly appeared a fiery red cloud, stretching and twisting like an unfolding scroll. For many, it reminded them of the visions of the prophets Ezekiel or John, where the scrolls were sealed, and now being unsealed, preparing for something big. By early 2025, residents of Key West began to report a chilling sound, a deep trumpet call from the sky. No planes, no storms, just a long, drawn-out sound that sounded like an invitation or a warning. These seemingly disjointed phenomena are now, in light of July 10th, being seen as the first chapters of an unfolding apocalypse. Not by accident. Perhaps they are a series of signs, for those who are still listening. After a flood swept through the Everglades, as the waters began to recede and the mud revealed strange markings, a team of archaeologists and geologists stumbled upon something that baffled and astonished the academic world. A giant stone slab, nearly 8 feet long, half buried in the mud, with a surface carved with strange detail and sharpness. In the center of the stone is a winged angel holding a trumpet, surrounded by carvings depicting waves and flames swirling in a perfect circle. The lines are not sketchy or abstract. The angel is carved so vividly that every strand of clothing and every muscle comes to life, like a living message engraved in time. Along the edge of the stone were symbols that had never been recorded in any indigenous culture in the American continent. After being scanned and compared, scholars determined that they were of the ancient Phoenician and Paleo-Hebrew variety, two writing systems that date back thousands of years and were originally found only in the Middle East. One line was translated almost unanimously by experts: "Fire will break out on the sea and kiss its shore. Then the trumpet will sound." The statement sent shivers down the spines of many scholars because it not only fit what was happening, but also echoed clearly in the books of Ezekiel and Daniel, where prophecies were recorded for the end times. Is this stone a warning buried in the ages, only to be revealed at the fateful moment? Or is it a time marker, placed to awaken those who still believe in supernatural intervention in the course of history? At the same time that Florida was rocked by fire, smoke, and earthquakes, signs began to spread across America, as if the heavens were ringing a wake-up call, not just for a state, but for an entire nation. In Oregon, the normally peaceful sky suddenly became filled with a giant cloud shaped like an angel's wing, soft, symmetrical, and glowing softly in the late afternoon light. No one could call it a coincidence. In Washington, D.C. at sunset, a strange purple-red halo enveloped the Capitol dome, an image that caused many people to stop in traffic and look up in silence. It was not just the light, but the feeling. The feeling that there was a presence looking down, waiting for something from the people below. In Texas, then Ohio, a strange bugle call began, not from instruments, not from planes, but from the sky. The sound was deep and long, like an echo from another world. Then came Tennessee, where the water turned dark red and fish floated on the surface, dying without any signs of disease, without any scientific explanation. From the shaking earth, the changing water, the changing sky to invisible sounds, all natural elements seemed to blend into a sacred choir, whispering together, "Listen, before it's too late." For those who have read Revelation chapter 8, this sequence of events is not just a coincidence. It is a trumpet call. It is the first chapter of prophecy that is slowly coming to fruition. Amidst the chaos of nature and the constant stream of miracles, a miracle began to quietly emerge, not from grand buildings or flashy pulpits, but from broken, humble hearts willing to listen. In Tampa, in the dim light of a power outage, a group of teenagers suddenly knelt in the middle of the street, singing and crying, worshiping God amid the crowds. They had no microphones, no band, just their shaky but sincere voices, echoing like a small flame in the darkness. That moment shook the spirit of the city. People began to come. Hundreds, then thousands, knelt together, needing no one to lead them, just the presence of God. Outdoor meetings quickly spread. Churches abandoned programs and stage lights and instead prayed on sidewalks, in fields, beside still receding floodwaters. In Jerusalem, a 24-hour emergency prayer vigil was initiated at the Western Wall, where pleas for America rang out without pause. From South Korea to Brazil, from Manila to Cape Town, faith communities around the world are coming together, not to see the catastrophe, but to see a call from heaven. Come back, before the last trumpet sounds. As water flooded the roads, as 33 states simultaneously flooded, as Ohio received blood-red rain and Georgia experienced unusual spring snowfall, people began to ask the question that no one dared to avoid. Is this a new great flood? Pastors across America are speaking out, not to spread fear, but to awaken. They are recalling God's words from the days of Noah, when people were busy eating, drinking, building, buying, selling, loving, and did not notice the door of the ark had closed. That day came suddenly, and today, the signs are everywhere. But how many people are still asleep? Yet, amid all the confusion, the focus is not on destruction, but on grace. For before every wrath, God sends a warning. Before every storm, He sends a signal. From strange trumpets, to red waters, to snow in the summer sun, all are not immediate punishments, but whispers from heaven, inviting people to repent. The question is no longer what is happening, but are we ready? Today's flood may be water, but the next flood may be the truth no longer hidden. Don't be taken by surprise as it was in Noah's day. The door of grace is still open, but not forever. Amidst the chaos of nature and the terrifying signs in the sky, the video enters its most powerful part, a call to an invisible but no less real battle, the spiritual battle. No longer are there news clips or supernatural images, but the trumpets of battle are sounding in the spirit world. Prayer is no longer a weak plea, but a declaration of war against the powers of darkness, exposing plans to manipulate the weather, climate control systems that are not created by God, but by human ambition. Many prophets warn that the skies are being weaponized, not just by technology, but by the evil forces that operate behind the power structures. The video quotes Daniel chapter 10, where the archangel Michael had to fight for 21 days against the kingdom of Persia in the spirit realm before Daniel's prayer was answered. The story is not a myth. It is a real model for today. Believers are called to be more than just witnesses. They are called to be spiritual warriors. We cannot fight this battle empty-handed or with half-heartedness. We must stand up, put away our idols, sanctify our lives, live consciously, and pray with the authority God has given us. Because this is not a war of flesh and blood. This is a battle for the soul of an entire nation. And those who remain silent will be the losers. Amidst the many miracles and upheavals, amid the trumpets and the flood, amid the earth-shaking warnings, the video does not end in despair, but closes with a door of hope that is still open. The promise from Scripture rings out like a beam of light through the red smoke. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, forgive their sin, and heal their land. That is not an old story. It is an invitation for today. From rural Texas, where young men knelt in worship amid parched grass, to college students gathering around a fire to pray all night in a schoolyard, to a post-wildfire baptism in Montana, where ashen bodies were immersed in water as a new beginning. All the evidence is there. Revival has begun. The question is no longer, is this real? The question is, are you listening? Do you hear the whisper in the wind? Do you recognize God knocking at the door of your heart? Are you willing to stand up, turn around, and be part of the wave of awakening that is sweeping across the land? If anything in this video touches you, please don't be silent. Comment your thoughts, like to support, share to spread, and subscribe to the channel to keep the fire of awareness alive in the end times. Because either this nation will rise, or it will fall. And you can be the difference.